Good afternoon, good class. Today, we're going to do section 2.1 and 2.2 for Math 11. Section 2.1 and 2.2. In 2.1, we're going to find the equation of a line. Like we said last time in the last video, we can find the equation of a line. The equation of a line. We can find it. In section 2.2, we're going to solve linear equations, okay? Section 2.1, good class, let's find the equation of a line. For example, suppose we have the following information, because when you find the equation of a line, listen to me, class. When you find the equation of a line, you need a point on the line and a slope of the line. If you're not given that information, you cannot find the equation, okay? So for example, suppose that a line comes in through the door, jumping up and down, and the line says, find my equation, says the line, find my equation. So what do you tell the line? Well, you tell the line, give me a slope and give me a point, and I'll find your equation. The line says, fine. The line says, here's my slope. My slope is -3/4. And here's my point. My point is -2, 5. Note, you can graph this equation. Sure you can. But graphing doesn't mean that you have the equation. You can graph it because this information is given. Look, you can graph the equation by going to the x-axis and then the y-axis. Go to the point -2, 5. -2, -1, -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. -2, 5, and that's this point. And now you can rise and run, because you're gonna rise and then you're gonna run. You better make this negative either part of the numerator or part of the denominator, not both. Either you bring it up or you bring it down, and it's up to you. I'm gonna bring it up, okay? So if I bring it up, this becomes -3/4, which means that I'm gonna rise 3 down because it's negative. So from the given point, I'm gonna rise 3 down, okay? From this point, 1, 2, and 3 down because it's negative. And I'm gonna run 4 to the right because it's positive. The denominator is positive. So rise 1, 2, 3, and run 1, 2, 3, and 4 to the right. And here's another point. That's another point of the equation that wants you to find the actual, or the line. That's another point of the line of the equation that wants you to find the equation of the line. And so now you connect them, connect these 2 points. And there you go. Now, the question is, what is its equation? We have the graph, but we don't have the equation. No problem. We can find it. Let's find it. Let me show you how to find the equation. Okay? Now you brought this up because of graphing purposes, but this is equal to that. So I'm going to erase it now because it's been graphed. There you go. Let's find the equation. You can use this formula, y equals mx plus b, or you can use this formula, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is method number 1, and this is method number 2. If you're going to use this method, you have the slope. All we need is to find b. So let's plug in the slope first. Y equals to the slope, which is negative 3/4 x plus b. And now we're going to find b. How do you find b? Well, you find b by plugging in the values for x and y. X is negative 2, y is 5. When y is 5, x is negative 2. When this y is 5, what is x? Negative 2 plus b. So note, I plugged in the point. When y is 5, x is negative 2. When this y is 5, this x is negative 2. Now you guys tell me, what is a negative times a negative? Positive. What is 3 times 2? 6. So therefore, 5 equals to 6 over 4 plus b. I'm trying to find b now because you don't have the entire equation. Now, let's simplify this. 5 equals to 2 goes into 6 3 times, and 2 goes into 4 twice, plus b. Okay. And now let's solve for b. To solve for b, I'm going to multiply every numerator by the LCD, and the LCD happens to be 2. LCD, the least common denominator, is 2. So I'm going to multiply this. By the way, that's a numerator. That's a numerator, and that's a numerator. I'm going to multiply everything by 2. I'm going to multiply this by 2. Going to multiply this by 2 and multiply this by 2. They are all numerators. The 2's cancel here. You see it? The 2's cancel. And so therefore, this is 10. The 2's cancel. So this is 3 plus 2b. I'm going to go here, okay? And I'm going to have to, well, let me go here first. So 10 equals to 3 plus 2b. Okay? And so now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. What's 10 minus 3? 7. So 7 equals to 2b. Correct? And what is b? Because we're looking for b. So b is what? B equals to what? 7 over 2. 7 over 2. That's b. Now we've got to come back and plug in b here and give the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. So let's plug it in. So this is the answer. The answer is y equals to negative 3/4 x plus b. And what is b? 7/2. 7/2. And that's the solution. Okay. This is another method. And this method, if you're going to continue, this is a better way. Okay? Why? Because when you get to math 10, if you get to math 10, even if you have to take business calculus, you better learn how to do it this way. So let's do it this way. I need room, so I'm going to erase this, okay, class? Not all of it, but most of it. Not most of it, but some of it. How's that? Right there. Okay. So now, this is the slope, m, right here. And this x1, y1 is the point given. Okay. So let me write the slope first. The slope is negative 3/4 x times x minus x1, and then y minus y1. Okay? So this is x1 right there and y1. And that's the point given. This must be x1 right there. I'm going to plug this x1 there, which is right here. So that's minus 2. Minus 2. And I better do this. That's x1. You guys tell me, what is y1? Y1 is 5 right there. 5. And now I'm going to solve for y. Okay? So note, here we go. Y minus 5 equals to negative 3/4 x plus 2. Okay? I'm going to distribute. All right? So y, I'm going to distribute first. I'm going to distribute. Okay? And then I'm going to, well, let me distribute first, okay? Let me just distribute. Okay? Step at a time. So y minus 5 equals to negative 3/4 x. And what's a negative times a positive? Minus 6/4. Now I'm going to bring this over to the right, and I'm going to simplify that. Note this is minus 5. When you bring it to the right, it becomes positive 5. So y equals to negative 3/4 x. And I'm going to simplify that. Minus, I know 2 goes into 6 3 times. And 2 goes into 4 twice. And now I'm going to bring this negative 5 to the right. And it becomes positive 5/1. Okay? And now I have to combine those two, because those two represents b. Okay? If I'm going to add those two, I better multiply this by what? By 2 and by 2. Okay? And so now that's 10. And what is this 10 plus this negative 3? What's 10 minus 3? 7. So therefore, y equals to negative 3/4 x plus 7/2. And we get the same thing all over again. Okay? And there it is. That's how you find the equation of a line. Okay? Now sometimes sometimes, okay, so I'm gonna, for the next few problems, I'm gonna use this method. Although you can still use this method, okay? But this method is used more as you continue. Okay? All right, so let's find another equation of the line. Okay, so if a line comes in through the door saying, find my equation, what do you tell the line? You tell the line, give me a slope and a point. Okay. And the line says, no, I'm not going to give you a slope and a point, says the line. The line says, instead, I'm going to give you 2 points. And the line says, let me give you these 2 points. Let me give you, for example, -3, -7, and 4, 5. You can graph those 2 points if you want to and pass a line through them. And you have the graph. But you do not have the equation. Okay. So first, we need m. We need m. We need to find the slope. So we can find the slope by the slope formula. The slope formula says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? Okay. So you label them. It doesn't matter which one. You want to call this one the first? Okay, call this one the first point. First. This must be the second. Okay? If this is the first point, this must be x1 and y1. And this must be x2 and y2. And if that's the case, all you need to do is plug in these values into the formula. Look at y2, which is right there. That's y2, which is 5. y2 is 5. So this y2 is 5 minus y1 is -7. -7 divided by. What is x2? x2 is 4. x2 is 4 minus x1 is -3. x1 is -3. Do you see it? x1 is -3. So y2, which is 5 minus -7 over 4 minus -3. And now just simplify. So this is 5 plus 7, which is 12. This is 12 divided by, and this is 4 plus 3, which is 7. And that is your slope. And now, let's find the equation of the line using this formula. Now, this x1, y1 is going to be this point. It could also be this point, because someone else may call this one the second and this one the first. Okay? So therefore, this x1, y1 is one of those 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you choose, you're going to get the same equation, the same answer. Okay, so I'm going to plug in this one for x1, y1. So according to the formula, it says y minus y1 minus -7 equals m. What is m? 12 over 7 times x minus x1 minus -3. Okay. So this is y plus 7. Y plus 7 equals to, this is plus 3. So I'm going to take this 12 over 7 times x, 12 over 7x, and I'm going to take this 12 over 7 times 3. What's 12 times 3? Plus 36 over 7. And now I'm going to bring this to the right, and so therefore y equals to 12 over 7x plus 36 over 7. And by the way, it's plus 7, it becomes minus 7 over 1. Okay? And now let's multiply top and bottom. Let's multiply top and bottom by 7. So multiply this by 7 and this by 7. And so now, finally, we get y equals to 12 over 7x. And then this is minus 49. What's negative 49 plus 36? Minus 13 over 7. And there you go. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So this is how, the way you find the equation of a line. Now sometimes the line is going to try to trick you. The line is going to say, if a line comes through the door saying, find my equation, what do you tell the line? You tell the line, give me a slope and give me a point. The line may say, I'm going to give you 2 points, and here's the example. Or the line may say, I'm going to give you a point, and I'm going to give you the slope of a line that's perpendicular to it. Okay? So here we go. So now the line is playing tricks on you. Okay? So if a line comes through the door saying, find my equation, what do you tell the line? You tell the line, give me a point and a slope. But the line is tricky. Now it's going to try to trick you. The line is going to say, here, Buster, let me give you a point and let me give you the slope of a line that's perpendicular to it. Okay? So in essence, the line says this: find the equation of a line. Of line 1. Line 1. That is perpendicular to another line with slope of m equals to negative 2/3. Okay. Find the equation of a line. Let's say line 1. You don't have to. Find the equation of a line that's perpendicular to another line with slope of m equals to negative 2/3 and passes through the point 5, comma 2. Okay? So you want to find the equation of line that passes through this point that is perpendicular to another line that has this slope. Now, the line is playing tricks on you. That's what's going on. The line is playing tricks on you. So what you need to do is you have to remember the definition of perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. Okay? Once again, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. So, if the line that you're looking for is perpendicular to another line that has this slope, that means that the line that you want, I'm going to call it line U. This is the slope of line that you want. Okay? The slope of line U. That's what you want. It's perpendicular to this one. So all you do is take the reciprocal and the opposite. The reciprocal, opposite. The reciprocal is 3/2. The opposite is positive. So that's the slope of the line you're looking for. Right there. And the line you're looking for passes through this point. Okay? So this must be x1, y1. This must be x1, y1. Okay? Find the equation of line that's perpendicular to another line with slope of negative 2/3, passes through the point 5, 2. Okay? So therefore, your line passes through this point with this slope now. Okay? Your line passes through this point with this slope. Okay, now let's use the formula. Y minus y1. What's y1? 2. Equals to m. What is m? 3/2. Times x minus x1. What is x1? 5. There you go. Distribute and then bring over. So by distribution, this is 3/2x minus 15/2, and then bring this over, plus 2/1 equals to y. Combine those two because those two is b, and so multiply this by 2 and multiply this by 2. And so now we have y equals to 3/2 x, and then negative 15 plus 4 minus 11/2. And that's your equation of the line. Okay? Beautiful. Okay. Now, let's go on to section 2. Okay, so this is done. This is done. In section 2, good class. In section 2, we are now going to solve linear equations. Section 2, we're going to solve linear equations linear equations. Okay? Now, question is, what is a linear equation? A linear equation is an equation with two variables, okay? And both variables are raised to the first power. If one of the variables is raised to the second power or more, it's no longer a linear equation. Or if one of the variables is in the denominator, it's no longer a linear equation, okay? Linear equation. Both variables to the first power, and both variables must be in the numerator, okay? So here is an example of a linear equation. Here we go. X minus 3 over 2 plus 5/3 equals to x minus 2 over 5. You see this variable? This variable to the first power. Variable to the first power. Okay? So therefore this must be a linear equation. It's gotta be to the first power. And the variable is not in the denominator. A linear equation. If the variable was in the denominator, we would call it a rational equation, no longer a linear equation. Okay? Very good. So how do we solve this linear equation? You need to find the LCD. Yes, you do. Let me show you a nice way to find the LCD. To find the LCD, good class, to find the LCD, listen to me, the LCD consists of the different factors in the denominators. Once again, the LCD consists of the different factors in the denominator. If the denominator needs to be factored, you do that. So let's do this. Good class, let's do this. Let's solve this one first, okay? The LCD, in this case, is 2 times 3 times 5. What's 2 times 3 times 5? 30. That's the LCD. Okay? In a few minutes, I'm gonna make it more complicated so that you'll find the LCD. But this one is not too bad. 2 times 3 times 5 is the LCD. The LCD is the product of the prime factors involved in the denominator. Okay. LCD is 2 times 3 times 5. 30. LCD equals 30. That's the first thing, find the LCD. And then multiply every numerator. Multiply all numerators by the LCD. If the numerator has a binomial, you write that binomial within parentheses. Okay? What are we going to do now? First, you find the LCD. First. Second, you multiply every numerator by the LCD. So here I'm going to multiply every numerator. How many numerators do you see? 3. 2 of them are binomials. So whenever I get a binomial in the numerator, I put it within parentheses. Okay, so I'm going to multiply every numerator by the LCD. Here's the numerator, binomial. Parentheses, 30. Here's another numerator, it's a monomial. To make it simpler, 30. Numerator, binomial, 30. That's the second step. The first step is to find the LCD. The second step is to multiply every numerator by the LCD. So, step number 1, find LCD. Step number 2, multiply numerators by LCD. Okay. Third step, simplify. Okay, remember, the whole purpose of multiplying by the LCD is so that this denominator disappears. That's the whole purpose. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Now, don't forget, because this LCD came from the 2, it did came from the 2. When I got 30, I said 2 times 3 times 5. So because this 30 became, we got this 30 using this 2 is bound to go into 30. This 3 is bound to go into 30, and this 5 is bound to go into 30. Now 2, don't worry about the inside, okay? Ignore parentheses when you multiply every numerator by the LCD. Ignore parentheses until things are simplified. So watch this. I'm gonna ignore the x minus 3. I'm gonna ignore the x minus 2 until I simplify this equation. So number 3, simplify. Okay. So 2 into 30, 15 times x minus 3. Ignore this. Plus 3 into 30, 5 times 10 equals 5 into 30, x minus 2 times 6. There you go. Note. I ignore this until fractions are gone. Don't worry about parentheses until fractions are gone. Okay. Now, I'm going to distribute. Yes, I'm going to distribute now. Distribute. Okay. Note, you tell me, how do we get to 15? We got the 30 divided by 2 is 15. So when this 15 is distributed, into this parentheses, guess who is distributed? The 30 over 2 is distributed, and that's 15. When this 15 is distributed, the 30 over 2 is distributed. Yeah. So therefore, everybody's being distributed into parentheses, except you don't do that until the equation is simplified or in its due time. Okay, distribute. 15 go inside, which means 30 and 2 go inside. Okay. What's 15 times x? 15x. What's 15 times negative 3? Negative 45. What's 5 times 10? Plus 50 equals. What's 6 times x? 6x. By the way, when 6 is distributed, guess who is distributed? The 30 over 5. They're both distributed because the 6 came from both. So when 6 goes inside, the 30 divided by the 5, they go inside. So 6 times x is 6x, and 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Okay, very good. We almost have it. Combine those two. So 15x plus what? Plus 5 equals 2, 6x minus 12. Bring the 6x to the left, kick this 5 to the right. So 15x, come on, minus 6x, go that way. Minus 5 minus 12. There you go. So what's 15x minus 6x? 9x. And what is negative 5 minus 12? Minus 17. So x equals to negative 17 over 9. And we have solved. Yes. We solved the original problem. What was the original problem? That was the original problem. So step number 3 is simplify, and step number 4, solve. And there you go. There you go. Okay. Want to do another one? Sure. Let's do one more. Okay. So here's another one. Let's do another one. I'm going to make this a little bit more complicated just to show you how to find the OCD. Okay? So here's another one. Here, I'll make this one up. X minus 4 over 12 minus x plus 2 over 5 equals to, I'm going to say here, x minus 1 over, I'm going to say 15. Okay? Here's a good equation. The first step is to find the OCD. Now, because the other equation that we just did, the denominators were already factored. We didn't have to do that. But in this case, these denominators have not been prime factored, okay? So to find the OCD, my point is to find the OCD, we need to factor the denominator. So I want you to take the entire equation and we're gonna find the prime factorization of each denominator. Once again, rewrite it with the prime factorization of each denominator. Okay? All right. So, the prime factorization. So watch this. X minus 4 over 12. 2 times 2 times 3. Minus x plus 2 over, the prime factorization of 5 is just 5, equals x minus 1 over the prime factorization of 15, 3 times 5. Okay. Now let me show you how to find the OCD. I'm going to erase this, okay, because we know the steps now, okay? So erase this. Let's find the LCD. So look, the LCD is going to have 2s, 3s, and 5s because those are the only prime factors involved in the denominator. Now the question is how many 2s? So with your hand waving, like you just don't care, go to the denominator. Yes, go to the denominator where 2 occurs the most. You never go to more than one denominator. You always go to one denominator and that's it. So go to the denominator where 2 occurs the most. Go to the denominator where 2 occurs the most. No 2's here, no 2's there, 2 2's there. We take 2 2's. So we go to the denominator where 2 occurs the most. How many 2's? 2 2's. Done with 2. 3 now. Go to the denominator. Once again, with your hand wavy like you just don't care. Go to the denominator where 3 occurs the most. Denominator where 3 occurs the most. One's there, but you do not go to both denominators. You pick one of them. Okay? There. You always go to one denominator. If 3 occurs in 2 different denominators, you pick one of them. So I pick this one. How many 3's? 1 3. Done with 3. Do it again. With your hand waving like you just don't care, go to the denominator where 5 occurs the most. Either here or there, not both. Okay. I don't care, I'll go there. Believe it or not, that's your LCD. Yep. That is your LCD, good class. And what is 4 times 15? Tell me, what's 4 times 15? 60. That's your LCD. Very good. Excellent. So now that we have the LCD, I'm going to multiply every numerator by the LCD. That's your step number 2. If the numerator is a binomial, you have to write parentheses. So this numerator by the LCD, this numerator by the LCD, this numerator by the LCD. Now don't forget, this LCD, we got it using the 3 and the 5. Yes, we did. So this 3 times 5 is bound to go into the LCD. All these denominators are bound to go into the LCD. By the way, do not worry about what's in parentheses until you get rid of fractions. Okay? Do not worry about parentheses. Don't worry. Now, don't forget, these 2 times 2 times 3, we use them for 60. The LCD. Yeah, look, it's right there. 2 times 2 times 3. The 5, we used it to get 60. Look. And the 3 times 5, we used it to get 60. So all these denominators are bound to go into the LCD. Okay. So 2 times 3 is 12. 12 into 60 is 5. 2 times 3, that's 12. Okay, that's the answer right there. So that's 5. And we're not going to worry about parentheses. X minus 4 minus. Okay. See this 5? 5 into 60. Okay. 5. There's the 5. Oh, okay. 5 into 60. The answer's right there. 2 times 2 times 3, which is what? 12. 5 into 60, 12. 12 times x plus 2. Don't worry about parentheses. Equals to 60 divided by 3 times 5. Okay, we'll look for 3 times 5. Here's 3 times 5. Okay. 3 times 5 goes into 60. How many times? Oh, right there. That's the answer right there. 4. 15 goes into 64 times. 4 times x minus 4. Do not worry about parentheses. There you go. You tell me, do you prefer this equation or do you prefer this one? I know what you're thinking. You prefer this one. Oh yeah, that's more beautiful than that one. Actually, this one is beautiful, but some people do not like them. I do. Okay, but let's continue. Now, listen to me. When the 5 goes inside into this parentheses, guess what? Everybody, the 60, the 2, the 60 divided by 2 times 2 times 3, they all go inside. We just don't do it here. It makes no sense. We do it here because it's simpler. So when the 5 goes inside, everybody, the 2, and the 3, and the 60 go inside. Okay. 5 times x, 5x. 5 times negative 4, negative 20. They all went inside. Minus. When the 12 is distributed, go inside into this house, guess who goes inside? The 60 and the 5 go inside. Because the 60 divided by the 5 is 12. So when this 12 goes, minus 12 goes inside, the 60 divided by 5 go inside. We don't want to do it here, class. You don't want to do it there. It makes no sense. You're making things complicated if you distribute here. No, don't do that. Do it here. Minus 12x, distribute, minus 24. See how beautiful that is? Guess what? When the 4 goes inside, you tell me, when the 4 goes inside, who goes inside? The 60 divided by the 3 times 5. They all go inside. So no one is being cheated. When the 4 goes inside, everybody goes inside, distributed. What is it? 4x minus 4. Okay. This is beautiful. This is where we started. We multiply every numerator by the LCD. We got a simpler equation. Now it's even better. So now let's finish it. So therefore, what's 5x minus 12x? Negative 7x. What's negative 20 minus 24? Negative 44. Equals to what? Equals to 4x minus 4. Okay. Bring this 4x to the left. Bring this minus 44 to the right. So what do we get? Negative 7x, come on, minus 4x. Go that way. Negative 44. 44 minus 4. Look at that. Okay. All right, very good. So negative 7x minus 4x is what? Negative, what is it? Negative 11x. equals to what? 40. And so therefore, x equals to negative 40 all over 11. There we go. Okay. And that's your answer. All right, good class. That was fun. Okay, that was fun. Okay, so I want you to try the homework. Try the homework. I gave you the hardest type of equations, okay, with denominators involved, so that the other equations are a lot easier, okay? All right, very good. Have a nice day. I will see you guys next